everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be reviewing the book Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, and this was your guys' viewer's choice for this month, which I'm really happy about because I thoroughly enjoyed this book. The story takes place in the year 2040 and it follows this character named Wade. He is pretty poor and lives in like a trailer park, and the only thing he really seems to enjoy is being a part of this virtual reality utopia that's been created called the Oasis. The Oasis kind of started out as a video gaming software type thing, and then it was built to become almost like a separate world that people can live in. You can go to school there, you can create businesses in there and go shopping there and things like that. It's like a full-on reality system where your movements and your thoughts and everything control what your avatar does in this world. In this world you can kind of be whoever you want and change your lifestyle and things like that based on how well you do within that reality. After one of the creators of the Oasis passes away, it's announced in his will that he has hidden an Easter egg within the game, and the first person to find it wins all of his money and everything else that he owned. So after this is announced, obviously, everyone goes into it and keeps trying to search for it, and there's been like a long period of time where everyone was trying to search for it and no one could figure out what was going on. The creator left a clue in his will, and so that clue should be able to lead you to it, and then you have to complete a series of puzzles and tasks. Wade ends up being the first person to solve the first part of the puzzle. After that happens, there's sort of this frenzy to complete the puzzle and be able to win the prize. Like I said, I really enjoyed reading this book. It was a lot of fun. It was a really quick read because it's really light. It's really action-packed. The one thing that has been generating the most buzz about this book is all of the pop culture, specifically 80s pop culture references, because the Oasis and specifically this quest to find the Easter egg all has to do with the 80s, because the creator of the game grew up in the 80s and is obsessed with the 80s, so all the things dealing with his puzzles have to do with 80s movies, games, music, anything pop culture and anything 80s, goes in this world. Wade is one of the foremost 80s pop culture specialists, you could say, because he has done everything he could to study everything about the creator and what he loved during that time in order to figure out the puzzle, as are all of the other people who are playing this game. And that is part of what makes this book so fun, is all of the references that are made. If you don't know 80s pop culture, I don't know how enjoyable this book will be to you, just because so much of it is centered around that fact. But at the same time, you could also argue that there's way too much of a focus on that. There are parts of the book that are making references to something 80s almost to just make the reference. I think everyone knows those types of people who kind of just bring up topics just to show that they know what that topic is. So there are a lot of movies and games that are referenced in here that really have no point in the storyline. They're just brought up, but at the same time I never felt like that was too overwhelming for me, because it felt like it was true to Wade's character. I felt like Wade would be that type of person because he had spent his whole life basically obsessing over it so he could find the prize. It almost makes sense that everything he talks about and everything he does will be 80s related. Ernest Cline is also a screenwriter, which you can definitely see when you're reading this book, because this book plays out a lot like a movie, and it almost plays out like an 80s movie, which is both a good and a bad thing. This book is pretty predictable. There isn't really much that surprised me necessarily in this book. I've said this before in reviews, that isn't necessarily something that I need. I'm okay with books that are predictable as long as they are fun and engaging, which this book was for me. There is one part of the book that did surprise me a little bit, and that is the reveal of one of the characters. I won't say who or what the reveal is. Anyone who read the book probably knows what I'm talking about, but basically in this virtual reality you can make your avatar look like whatever you want and whoever you want. So Wade's interacting with all of these minor characters and he has no idea what they look like. He doesn't know what his best friend looks like. There's a girl in here who he has a crush on. He doesn't know what she really looks like. He kind of assumes that they look similar to their avatars, but there is no guarantee of that whatsoever. When they finally meet, one of the characters is not what you think they are going to be. I thought that was really fun, and I kind of like that little bit of a twist in the book. One of the things that I did really enjoy in this book were when they were completing all of the tasks that they have to do in order to get to the Easter egg, and I will say that I was slightly disappointed by the last task. I thought it was, fine. But I thought it was kind of anticlimactic for our last task. But I'm always that type of person who enjoys things like that. Like my favorite Harry Potter book is Goblet of Fire, partially because I like the challenges that they do in Goblet of Fire. That's my review of Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I feel like I would recommend this book to anyone who enjoys anything 80s, anything pop culture-y. I know some people who are really into those things but didn't like this book, but that is mainly because this book kind of does hit you over the head with the references. But I feel like I was willing to let that pass just because I was still having so much fun in the book. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I put it on my favorite shelf because I really think this book is a lot of fun and I definitely recommend it. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching. And the only time, and the only thing he really seems to enjoy is when he blah. One of the things I really did enjoy about this, and then after one of the creators of the that takes place, and there are these people who are and they're